The final Inquisitor, known as Marrok, was one of the greatest talking points in Star Wars after the premiere of the Ahsoka series. And in episode 4 of Ahsoka: Fallen Jedi, although we did not get a full reveal of exactly who or what Marrok is, we do have a much better idea now, and we believe can be pointed in the right direction concerning what this mysterious figure really is. Major spoilers will follow for the 4th episode of Ahsoka, so if you have not seen it, Acolytes, I implore you to go do so before finishing this holocron. In the episode, the Inquisitor cuts off Ahsoka from reaching the map and Balin's skull, cutting her off in the forest of Cetos. The two of them engage in a fierce but a brief duel, and as the two wielders of the light and dark side respectively pace from across one another, each ready to strike, the last Inquisitor, Marrok, falls back on a technique that is nothing new for the Inquisitorius, using his Inquisitor lightsaber to spin rapidly in an attempt to overwhelm Ahsoka Tano. A trick that the Inquisitors used quite often and with great success against ill-prepared Jedi Knights, as well as young Padawans during the Jedi Purge. But Ahsoka is neither. Ahsoka has dueled many Inquisitors and has seen this trick before. Expertly, she slices Marrok right at his midsection as he falls to the forest floor. But here, something incredible happens, something very, very peculiar, and something very much dark side in nature. A massive pillar of ash, or perhaps smoke, erupts from the cut within Marrok, leaving behind what remains of his armor on the floor of the forest. Although Ahsoka briefly looks puzzled here, she also comprehends that this is some magic of the dark side of the Force itself. But what exactly do we know in the lore about this, and about this shadow demon that Marrok apparently is? What does this have to do with ancient Sith techniques and an ancient Sith ritual? And who exactly is the master of Marrok and the architect of such a dangerous ritual and dark side power? In Legends continuity, there did actually exist a physical embodiment of a smoke demon that was conjured by the use of the dark side itself, a physical manifestation of dark side rituals. In the Book of the Sith, we learn of something known as the Dwamutsikwa. This directly translates in the ancient Sith language to summon demon. It was an old incantation that summoned a manifestation of the dark side known directly as a smoke demon. This ancient Sith ritual was eventually uncovered by more modern Jedi and Sith on ancient scrolls, before even the time of holocrons presumably. What is known is that the caster would concentrate the air and the energy around them to conjure a demon beast known as the Smoke Demon. This creature had no true form, although when Luke Skywalker encountered it, he did explain that it seemed physical, but that he could also sense it within his very mind. Sometimes, the demon would even assume the shape of its victim's greatest fear. The demon would also be unleashed when individuals that were not privy to Sith knowledge attempted to access ancient scrolls, manifesting as a physical demon and attacking anyone who was deemed unworthy. The creation of the smoke demon was pioneered by Sorzus Sin, one of the 12 high-ranking Jedi who were exiled from the Jedi Order following the 100-Year Darkness and Great War with the Jedi. But what's important to know is that Sorzus Sin is speculated to not actually be the creator of the smoke demon, but rather that she found it on the walls of an ancient Sith temple, learning more from it when she gained access to a scroll on the Sith homeworld of Korriban, in which she would write her own encounters with the demon. So, is Marrok an ancient Force demon? Well, it's completely possible. However, we also believe that there is more at play here. In Arthurian legend, Marrok was known as a noble knight who was ultimately transformed into a wolf due to a witch. And we believe that this symbolism and story still holds true with this character of Marrok. It is very likely that he was at one point a valiant and faithful Jedi Knight, but that he was ultimately corrupted by the dark side of the Force, and like many Inquisitors, joined the ranks of the Inquisitorius following the rise of the Empire. But where Marrok's story ultimately changes is extremely important. We learned several years ago, thanks to the canon Luke Skywalker comic book series, that this was not the first dark side ritual that was ever performed on an Inquisitor. Rather, we learned that Darth Vader himself performed an ancient Sith ritual on the Grand Inquisitor, causing the very spirit of the Grand Inquisitor to be unable to pass into the nether realm of the Force, tying him directly to an outpost that Darth Vader needed guarding. That outpost belonged once to the High Republic Jedi. It would be here where Luke Skywalker would encounter the specter of the Grand Inquisitor, still physical, and yet partially ethereal, very similarly to what we see with Marrok in Ahsoka. What this means though, is that there is precedence for Vader, and potentially even Sidious, to have done sinister experiments on the Inquisitors, perhaps rituals that stopped them from moving on into the nether realm of the Force once they were struck down. But we do not believe that Darth Vader is the main tormentor of Marrok. We rather believe that Marrok is a very extension of Morgan Elsbeth. The Nightsister's magic is extremely powerful and potent, and we have seen before that it can resurrect corpses for a short amount of time. It is possible that Marrok very much was once an Inquisitor, perhaps one of the more powerful Inquisitors, but that Morgan Elsbeth transformed his body following his physical death at the hands of someone unknown, forcing his body to be a victim of the dark side itself, an ancient demon, forcing him to continue to fight on for her own sinister goals, past his natural moving on through the Force. But what makes this even more strange is we have actually seen an Inquisitor disappear in a similar manner, an Inquisitor that Ahsoka Tano herself faced. The Inquisitor that Ahsoka faces in Tales of the Jedi after she strikes him down extraordinarily easily also seems to somewhat deflate. Although what Marrok goes through is far more dramatic than this, it could be that Marrok and this Inquisitor had similar experimentation done on them by the Sith. But we believe that all roads in the end lead to Nightsister magic and Morgan Elsbeth. From this point on in the Holocron, I'm going to be discussing leaks revolving around the Ahsoka series and its finale, and where the show and Thrawn will ultimately end up. So if you do not wish to be spoiled or be informed about these leaks, please leave the Holocron now. For those of you unbothered, let's continue. According to many leaks revolving around Ahsoka, the finale will be Morgan Elsbeth creating an undead army for Thrawn, likely using a similar method that we see here with this Inquisitor, with this only being the very beginning. Perhaps more of these smoke demons and monsters could be constructed by Morgan to serve as Thrawn's brand new army as heir to the Empire, and Marrok is only the beginning and some form of experimentation, an ancient form of Sith and a ritual of the Nightsister magic to create a sort of smoke demon. For Marrok, this may not even be the last time we will see him, as he could appear as another dark side manifestation later in the series. But this is all the information that we have gleaned from both Legends and canon continuity revolving around what the last Inquisitor Marrok truly is. So anyway, my friends and acolytes, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think we are accurate in judging that Marrok could be a result of a Sith ritual or Nightsister magic? And as always, stay tuned later on the channel for more breakdowns of Ahsoka. As always, my friends and fellow acolytes of the Force, may the Force be with you always, and have a great day.